Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Robert T. Green. I'm the CEO of Pre-Post Game. Welcome to the African American Athlete Pre-Post Game podcast presented by Pre-Post Game, sponsored by the African American Athlete. Again, as I said, my name is Robert T. Green. I'm the CEO of Pre-Post Game. I'm also known as a players rep to educate, empower, protect the athletes and their family's best interests alone. Join us every Wednesday from 6 p.m. on African American Athlete, AF/AM Athlete on Facebook, where we cover sports business from the player's perspective and the family perspective. You see behind me, you have a screen right here with a lot of different words. And so I thought today might be a situation where we need to really educate, empower, protect the actual athlete and the families. To understand what the sports business today is really consists of. For those of you who don't know, youth sports in particular are a $15 billion a year industry. You know about things like 7-on-7 showcase, also known as AAU in basketball. And then how you don't understand how you get into that situation now sets you up for actually failure at the next level. I just had a post that was shown up yesterday regarding Mr. Dabo Sweeney. He's the head coach from Clemson. Said that if you're trying to evaluate 7-on-7 film and regarding a football player's talent, you're not going to be around very long. And once again, he's absolutely correct. I support that actual data simply because, again, football is a contact sport. So you put guys in numbers and jerseys and shorts, that's fine and dandy. However, those same kids that are running around 7-on-7 tournaments all over the country, believing based off those that's telling them that they're going to be recruited based off of that is giving them false information. So again, look back at the words behind me. So what I'm going to do really quick, we're going to discuss a few of these things so to understand what's really going on. But before I go there, I want to teach you guys what the sports industry really means, how it actually really works. And so you understand from the basis of what you're getting into. So obviously, for those of you who don't know, again, we have a sports business management advisory firm. We also do transition succession planning for the athlete. To teach you the sports business flow chart, we talk about business terms in flow chart. And a flow chart means top to bottom. I mean, where it starts and where it ends. Regarding your business, how you get things done, your leverage, who you are, you got to understand how all this works. I tell people all the time, in particular, we talk about sports bars on a Friday or a Saturday night. Half of the people that go to sports bars go for one of the two reasons. One, besides getting the alcoholic beverages and the actual food that is there, the majority go to see the actual games being played on the TV prior to the music coming on. And again, if those TVs wasn't there, I can reassure you that their actual business model and their actual revenue generated will be significantly lower. So again, here it is: athlete, train, perform, and promote. That is the athlete's job. Once again, in the sports business, about the athlete starting off with their training, their performance, and promoting the actual sport, it would not lead to the next type of evolution, if you will, which involves the coach. Without the coach, without the athlete, there's no one to coach, no coaching profession. So the coach's job is to recruit, grow the program for the school, the university, league, and expand. Again, the league, advertising, marketing, which leads to the team that gets endorsement, ticket sales, sports TV, revenue stream, and owner. So once again, the athlete is generating and driving all of these things from one thing to the next. However, the athlete gets hats and T-shirts, attaboy. Also, when they get injured, a lot of times they get the next man up. Again, the coaches get the bonuses. The coaches get the recognition. Coaches get, well, they're the greatest of this. They're the greatest of that. The team gets the actual marketing. They get the branding. They get the notoriety. They get all these different things, and particularly with football, where it's a joke in 2018 that these guys have helmets on and take them off. These leagues want to fine them and penalize them for basically having their face shown, whereas in other sports such as hockey and baseball, you can, not only take your helmet off, you can drop the bat, you can throw the bat, you can charge the mound, you can brawl. But guys that are playing in a gladiator sport that's full contact for doing things and saying certain things, words, if you will, not dropping the sticks and gloves and fighting on ice, but words, language, they are fined significantly. And again, it goes back to the actual, the players' union. It goes back to the actual parents. It goes back to the players that literally allow them to be put in situations because what may have been happening in 1945 and be beneficial for a lot of other people besides them, they continue to go through that same scenario from there. So once again, just to recap, without the player, there's such thing as a coach profession. Without the coaching profession, there's such thing as a team. Without the team, there's such thing as a league. Without the league, there's such thing as ESPN, NFL Network, NBA TV, the World Cup. None of these things can evolve without the beginning of the athlete. So the athlete and the family must know and understand their business principles, their leverage, their responsibility, and knowledge of how to go about doing things best for them. Also, another important thing is that sports is based off of health, production, age, and again, longevity. So the reality is an athlete has a window. It's the only profession in the world where you literally have a time range on it, where in a very short time range to maximize your ability on up the field. The industry understands it. As I say all the time, sports is not a game. Sports is all business. You also say invest in yourself, not the industry. So now that we clear that up, we're going to go about some of these things when it goes to at the earliest level when I talk about how I educate and empower, protect the actual athlete. And those three terms are essential because at the end of the day, it doesn't just apply to the actual sports business. It applies to anybody, anyone you interact with, anyone wants to have a conversation with you, anyone that feels like that they want to be in your life for several reasons. And so when you're talking to that person, just like now, I'm going to ask you guys, if this video educated, empowered, or protect you in any way, please like and share it because, again, at the end of the day, there's someone else that needs to hear what we're actually talking about right here. But again, when I talk about people talking to me, I'll just give you a quick role model example. If I wanted to recruit a player for my company in pre-post, I'm going to talk to that player about, one, who we are, what we do, when we started, and why we are here, and how we can help them in their exact business model. For example, I say, hey, young man, you are projected to be a top 10 pick. With the top 10 pick, things that come about such as tax revenue, the code that you might be in, the city or the state you might be in, whether it's a tax-free state or a highly rated state, highly taxed state such as California versus a no state tax state such as Texas and Miami. Secondarily speaking, we talk about marketing, we're talking about public speaking, talking about if you're a top 10 pick, you're going to be asked and required to do a lot of things on TV speaking. How well are you prepared are you? How comfortable are you in front of the camera, understanding that now everything you do is going to be scrutinized? Also, again, when it comes to that notoriety, there are other people out there that's going to present all types of business opportunities, all types of things that you don't really understand at this point. So we can teach you what those things are to actually educate and empower, protect you regarding that. And obviously, again, when we talk about negotiation, who provides value to who? You are the athlete or not providing value to them. As an athlete in sports today, only in sports where you can basically be the value or the person that makes everything go, but someone can tell you that what you're going to pay them, even though they work for you. For example, an agent will come to an athlete who just recently graduated or declared for the NFL draft. Now this agent tells you that we're going to charge you 2%, 3% to represent you, although you already project the top 10 pick. So once again, you let them set the market or set the actual value for you, although you're providing the value to them. They are going to solicit, which means use your name to basically get other clients to do the same exact thing. However, if you knew you're going to be a top 10 pick, you already understand based off the salary cap and the slotted salary that literally there's little to no negotiation in that actual contract. However, you wait for 5 months to find out you're going to be the number 1 pick. Something may happen when you get injured. You might fall to number 255th pick, but now you actually have an actual agreement in place without even knowing what's going on. That is bad business. That is bad business. It's not a Fortune 100 company, Fortune 500 company, whatever will portray or participate in that type of setup. Again, terms such as trust the process of God's plan is absolutely comical regarding when it comes to the state of business and the economy and the world we live in today. But again, you're talking about this free education that these kids receive at NCAA level. They continue to smooth over or basically try to interject when they want to pertain to these kids' business. I'm the biggest proponent, see all the time, that the school recruits a player to play a sport and to go to class, not to direct sports traffic him to his current agent or to someone they want to work with in that business. At the end of the day, this video or this actual models that we provide is not to make or not to refer or not to basically get kickbacks from anyone in the sports industry. It is to educate and empower, protect the athletes and the family's best interest alone. The more educated you are, the more knowledgeable you are about your own business, the less that you require different supports. At the end of the day, when that short sports career ends, you now can utilize your actual revenue to benefit you. You can send your kids to private school, not someone else's kids to private school. I tell people all the time, it's not a doctor's job to heal you. It's a doctor's job to make you understand and believe in what they're doing. They might prescribe a certain medication or something like that. But inevitably, if you don't stop doing the things that got you to the doctor in the first place, you're going to be coming back to them and you will continue to pay the copay. Same thing applies to lawyers. Same thing applies to trainers. And the list goes on and on and on and on. Education, power, protection. When someone has said to you like, hey, how you doing? My name is Robert T. Green. I'm such and such. I work with this guy, I work with that guy. I love to meet with you. I heard great things about you. We've done contracts, negotiated a lot of contracts for over $1 billion over the last 50 years. I know, again, I've seen a lot of guys that have been everywhere. They want to come out there and meet with you. There's a great steak restaurant over here. Heard you like shrimp too. One of my favorites, the chef. We're great friends. We have a lot of business together. And, at the end of the day, we're going to be a great team. Welcome to the family. Oh, but before you go, here's this contract signed right here, right here. This is the standard a standard agreement. I did not educate. I did not empower. And I did not protect. Whose standard is that contract? If that contract is being presented to me and my name is on it, it is about me and what's in it. And your job is to explain how that contract benefits me. It is your job to explain to me how this contract benefits you. This is not just the pro level. This is not just the collegiate level. This goes back to the showcase. It goes to the talent of the AAU. When parents are paying money to go all over the country, believing their kids are going to be recruited. When certain recruitment sites say that if you pay them a certain amount of money, $1,200, $1,300, they can actually get you recruited. I'm here to tell you again as a player's rep, they cannot get you recruited. Your production on the field, your character off the field, how you conduct yourself on social media, how you interact with people in the community, how you present yourself is what allows you to move forward in that area. But all of that doesn't matter if your skill set doesn't make it what their actual parameters are. So if you're a 5'8", 155-pound running back, I'm sorry, parents, you will not be a running back at Penn State University. If you're 5'4", if you're 6'7", 245 pounds, you will not be a back catcher in the Major League Baseball. It's just not going to happen. So once again, you got to understand the sports business. And again, obviously, you need education and power protection regarding all things pertaining to business. Please check us out. Get a consultation at prepostgame.com, PRE-POSTGAME.com. So again, going back to, as you see behind me, right behind my head, the biggest word, recruitment. What does that actually mean these days? Again, we talk about recruiting you when all of these different schools want to recruit you, all different programs want to recruit you as early as high school. What is it in for you? What are you getting out of that recruitment? If the first thing presented to you is that, hey, this is what our fees are, and then you want to pay a fee, and then you find out, I highly suggest you go the other way. Reality is your actual presence on that actual court is what's paying their bills, not the other way around. It's not paying your bills. You're taking all the injuries. Going back to where you started, again, people will hand you a permission slip saying, hey, although 10,000 people is coming to this game as early as when you're in 10th grade in high school to watch this game, you're going to sign a contract, and your mom's going to sign a contract, giving up all rights to injury. So if you get injured per se, hurt yourself, anything that happened on that court, you're saying as a parent that you're going to be responsible for your kid's medical well-being. And once again, all the money that's being paid to watch your kids play, because again, with your kids off that court, that operation doesn't work. There's no referees over there. There's no scorekeepers over there. There's no one to secure the building. There's no one at the ticket gates. There's no one selling the pamphlets and the flyers. There's no one selling the concession stands, the hot dogs, the popcorn, and the beer. It all starts with you. Again, I want to go back to the chicken egg conversation, but you have to understand where your bread is buttered. And because you're young, and I talk about today in the sports world, there's no 17, 15, 14-year-old that can ever basically represent themselves properly, understanding the true essence of business versus a 35 to 50 to 60-year-old person who basically are using your economic status, if you come from the hood, to present dreams of you actually attending a certain university, because you see all the other kids on social media and with their actual Instagram and Snapchat. That's the word we're talking about today, about where you can actually hit a button, a like and a thumb. You actually, in your mind, believe you actually did something versus going out and actually vote. Again, that talking, you feel like you actually said something that somebody really cares about. And I'm here to tell you, they do not. So again, what you're actually doing, you're giving free marketing, free advertising to people that actually, in essence, you care less if it's you or the next person. I see it all the time. You got these different sneaker companies and brands sitting out there like, oh, we're looking for brand ambassador. They talk about brand ambassador, and again, an offer to be a brand ambassador, they telling you got to have at least 400 followers. So 400 followers or such follows you, and they're willing to give you a couple of sneakers, a couple of T-shirts, again, to market them, but yet call you a brand ambassador. And then when you market them, you're going to be marketing them for a cheap level of gear to a bunch of other people. Again, this type of situation is presented to actual kids and families. Like I said, going back to your actual where you live at. You come from the hood, you see things on TV, you feel like the only way you can make it out of that situation, basically your economic status, is entertainment and athletics. And as a former high school, collegiate, and pro athlete, I understand all of that because I went down that same path. Essentially why I became the players rep, essentially why pre-post game was created, because at the end of the day, I was trafficked, if you will, from one stop to the next. When you look back on your career, and including mine, when you say, why did I make certain decisions? You realize all the decisions that you made wasn't necessarily your decision. I tell people all the time, you become a pro athlete when someone's willing to pay money to watch you play. Because every time they speak to you from that point forward, they're looking to direct your situation in essence that's beneficial to them. Now, everybody's not complicit in this. I use the term plausible deniability because, like anything else, for the sports business, you don't know. There's different characteristics that go into all these things. For example, you got the personnel side, you got the business side, you got the staffing side, you got the training side, you got the players side, you got the ownership side, you got the marketing side, you got the advertising side, you got the branding side. And with that being said, 99% of those sides have no idea what the other side does. We do that pre-post game. We know exactly what each side is supposed to do. We know exactly each side, how they do it, and we know why they do it. That's all we're here to educate and empower, protect your best interest. And in essence, when you as a parent or a kid figure out what's going on, you ask a question, they can turn around and say, we had no idea, term hence plausible deniability. And then it goes away. Because you can't blame the personnel side for something that you didn't know that the business side was responsible for. I talk about good cop, bad cop, and pertaining to college. When you talk about recruiting again behind me, when a coach tells you this, she tells you that to get you to sign your name to come to a certain school. And then once you get there, the kid said, you told me this, you told me that. They turn around and said, we would like to. It's not our fault. The compliance department said that you can't. So once again, during your recruitment, you as a family and a kid need to understand that there's more than just talking to a coach and going around the campus and sitting at a basketball game, letting them put your name on a scoreboard, into actually making a business decision that's beneficial to you. Again, I rarely give the NCAA props of things that they do, but once again, I believe the NCAA did a great thing, but we know why they did a great thing. The model formerly known as the NCAA is starting to crumble based off of their model of doing things a certain way that does not educate, does not empower, does not protect the actual athlete. Even in their own model, when you say it's about free education, who would continue to make that argument instead of paying the players? The fact of the matter is, you look at last year's draft class, NFL, NBA, you look at this year's draft class, NFL, NBA, and ones prior to that. The reality is the majority of the players that drafted high are guys that are juniors, meaning they have not graduated yet. Few may have graduated in 3 years, but the reality is most of them do not. So once again, you're saying that, hey, after 3 years of us getting your marketing, free marketing and advertising, getting your body to get banged up and beat up for free at the school with their free education that you did not finish. And that the reality is, again, you are now going to be able to go to the league as someone that we can now turn around and use, again, to recruit other kids to come the same way. And when they, as good as you, will not graduate either. And you can come back when you want after the fact. But if you understand sports and business, but also education, if you don't use something that you have, you lose it. That's anything in life. So once again, that actual argument is fallible and never been accurate at all. Because at the end of the day, the highly rated athletes are taught or actually expected not to graduate school. So again, the entire argument is not there. So if you have an ability to actually play and generate revenue, it is our responsibility, it's our thought process that you need to pay the players. Because once again, if they're 4-star or 5-star, helped you get a bonus coach, helped you get a full-time job coach, only to when you go take a job somewhere else and make millions, then that kid got to sit back and be subservient to the next group of coaches that come in that may not want to be bothered with that kid and move on. It's not right. It's not fair. And again, because we're the players' rep, we're the ones educating, empowering, and also advocating for their and their family's best interest. So that's the situation from there. Now, going back to the actual transfer rule, for those who don't know, as of October, NCAA has now allowed the actual athletes to transfer without getting permission from the actual university. So at one point, the universities would say, no, I don't want you to transfer. They'll say, no, you can't transfer in conference. You say, no, you can't do this. No, you can't do that. Because once again, they want to keep kids from going places that they want to go. They may have told you one thing, and then they'll say, well, the kid needs to stick to his commitment, although that same rule doesn't apply and is not held up and for the actual coaches or anyone else that's actually making a living, because without those actual athletes, they would not be making a living. As I said, without the actual athlete, there's no coaching profession and actual college, high school, anywhere else for that matter. So when you talk about these things, now the athlete can say, you know what, I want to leave. They put their name in the actual, it goes into the actual database, and then after a certain amount of time, within 14 days, the kid is essentially out there. The other coaches can look at it and say, we want that guy. But again, it works both ways, because once that kid name goes into that actual situation, kids at that school where that kid might be going, they may now be on the block to basically be transferred or lose their scholarship. But those you don't know, again, scholarships are 1-year increments, although when a kid currently signs, you have to make a 4-year commitment without knowing what that coach may do and anything else. But now you can actually transfer. So now you got to realize like it's a lot more thought process that must go into it. You got to ask a lot more pertinent questions. You got to review the actual roster. You got to review the roster of the kids that were there 2 years ago after you. You need to contact their parents. You need to actually go back and look at the kids that are coming in after you against you. Understand that once you get caught in there, that you is where you want to be for your actual opportunity. You may make it pro, you may not make it pro. So again, you got to understand from the education piece, are you getting what you want to get out of that actual experience? Because you get 5 years to play for, again, unless you get a medical red shirt from an injury, which you will cover another time. But also, again, the transfer rule, they now made it now where as red shirts, you can get your red shirt still after playing 4 games. Now, again, many people have discussed and said that this is basically a good thing for both sides. I look at it as it's beneficial for the coaches because now if I recruited you as a 5-star or 4-star, I can put you on the field and then literally see what you can do. And if I don't feel that you're good, again, there's a rule that says still I don't have to renew your actual scholarship. You actually can recruit someone else and replace it. But again, sports is not a game. Sports is all business. Families and parents, you guys must understand that. You cannot continue to sign your name to a national letter of intent that has no positive bearing on your situation whatsoever. When you sign the national letter of intent, also known as NLI, you're giving the school the right to shut down your actual branding, your marketing, your recruitment of you. If the school actually wants you, then they're going to actually stick by you. I talk about the 4 different types of recruiting. 4 different types of recruiting is defensive recruiting, meaning I am a Michigan guy, born in Michigan, and I'm being recruited by Ohio State. Michigan really doesn't want me, but at the same time, Ohio State does. As Michigan, I don't want to allow a recruit to leave the state of Michigan to go to our rival at Ohio State. But defensively, I'm going to offer you a scholarship. Regional recruiting. I am a kid that's in North Carolina, and my opportunity is to go to Duke and to go to North Carolina and NC State. Now, again, all 3 of those schools want to keep me in-state. Again, as a parent, you have in-state tuition, talking about cost of attendance stipend. You're a homegrown family kid. You go to a powerhouse high school where a lot of kids that came out of there. Those 3 schools want to build that relationship and with you and your family and maintain with their high school. So, again, all 3 of them regionally want to keep you home and wants to offer you a recruiting scholarship from there. The next thing, 5-star recruiting. So once again, in my contract as a coach, no matter what, if you from Jersey and literally I'm being recruited, I have a 5-star, and so I'm going to get an offer from Texas, I'm going to get an offer from Mississippi, I'm going to get an offer from California. I've never been out of my home state before. I'm homesick. I'm a mama's boy, but yet they're going to offer you knowing that it might not be your best interest for you personally to come there because you don't feel comfortable there. However, if I get enough 5-stars, the school, the university, the coaching staff is going to get a certain bonus. If I'm a coach that's looking to get another job, I'm going to basically get 3 or 4 5-stars, and now I'm going to take that on my resume. And again, as you see the word behind me, resume, and I'm going to submit that to another school. And then once I get you to sign, I'm going to leave. And last but not least, again, they truly want you. Again, you wanted a transcending player. So in reality, it goes back to the actual star recruiting as well. However, if I get this kid can help really take my team over the top. It can help me win a national championship. And in essence, again, help me win a national championship. I get the contract renewed. I get the bonuses. You get the bonuses. You get the hat and T-shirt. And you get the bragging on social media, on Instagram and Twitter. The actual give and take, one hand washes the other, is not comparable. It doesn't make sense. So again, we talked about recruitment. Let's talk about talent. Without the talent as an athlete, is not a coach in America at any level that's going to recruit you anyway, anyhow. So once again, we talk about the lower level, with youth being a $15 billion a year industry. If you're paying to go to somewhere, that don't necessarily mean you have talent, parents. That means they're saying that you can play with your money. So I talked to several parents about how they're frustrated about their AAU experience because they don't see the recruits, they don't see the coaches coming up to them. Once again, you're paying to be a part of that. If your talent is actually warranted, a lot of times those actual athletes don't pay anything. They don't tell you that to the other parents, but they tell other parents not to tell you that. So once again, I'm educating, empower, and protect you right now. Again, after that talent, you look to your left on the resume, see contract. What's presented before you? Again, ask questions. How does this benefit me? What is in it? Let me take this to my lawyer. Let me take this to someone who I hired to actually review it on our best interest, and I'll get back to you. Never sign something that's put in front of you in the last 10 seconds. Again, you could be recruited for 3 years, 3 months. But however, no one ever talked to you about what inside the scholarship, inside the NLI, was actually your responsibilities. That is a 1-year contract. that you can transfer, that you can leave. There's things such as insurance, loss of value, if I make it to a certain level, how much would you cover? Can I have my own insurance provider? All these different things that you need to actually have written yourself. A scholarship is a two-way agreement. Well, two-way because at the end of the day, you got to sign it and they got to sign it. However, it's written by them. And if you don't have any input in it, then you got to understand from a business standpoint, it's not going to be in your best interest. Again, speaking of benefits, on the left, you see benefits over there. Reality is this. Different schools, different states, different situations, different coaches do things differently. It's not a one-stop shop. You have different needs. You have different understandings. You have different thought process. Again, if you're a kid that, for example, there's schools out there that may tell you that you can come to the school and you can get your own room and you're going to be on campus, but then after a couple of years, you're actually going to have to leave your actual dorm for having good grades. Now, once again, those apartments on the actual campuses is very expensive. Sometimes they got a waiting list. So now, again, you know the kid don't have the money regardless of the stipend. So when that happens, now the parent is stuck. So what did this kid do? Half the time, they end up dealing with these runners, these agents, that say, oh, we understand you don't got the money. NCAA is well aware of all these different things. So, again, when we talk about setting these kids up for failure, again, it's why pre-post game, why I as a players rep is here to get things done from here. Again, the last thing I'm going to speak on today off of these topics is help. We're here to help. So, again, for more information, go to prepostgame.com. I am the Players Rep. You can follow me at the Players Rep on Twitter. I'm sorry, Players Rep 1 on Twitter, the Players Rep 1 on Instagram. You can also follow me, the Players Rep, on Facebook. Now, again, how I use Facebook, how I use social media for me is to educate and empower and protect. But really, the education, we kind of give away a lot of times for free. But everything is not, like I said, a one-stop shop. So for more information on your needs, again, reach out for a free consultation at prepostgame.com. After that, if it's something that we can help you with, we'd be glad to do so. So again, my name is Robert T. Green. Thank you for joining us on the African American Athlete. Join us every Wednesday at 6 p.m. at AFAM Athlete on Facebook.